players and has more from Embu.
Many thanks indeed. And on the 58th Madaraka Day event, President Uhuru Kenyatta issued a directive to the Cabinet Secretary for Education, that is Professor George Magoha, to come up with a policy framework that will see to it Jua Kali sector players are issued with a certificate. And under the new policy framework, and under this particular framework, the Kenya National Qualification Authority will issue certificates to sector players of Jua Kali that will enable them be recognized, a move that will enable them also to get tendering contracts, which for a while President Uhuru Kenyatta said they have been sidelined. But currently I am within Jua Kali area here in Embu County to speak or engage rather to Jua Kali players in this particular town, to get an in-depth perspective with this particular certificate. What is it in for them? How will they benefit from getting or acquiring certificates? Quite some activities taking place here. Naam, asante kwa muda wako. Labda tu tuanze na jina lako na pia utueleze. President Uhuru Kenyatta alisema kwamba mpewe certificates ili muweze kutambulika katika kupoa zile contracts. Je, katika hii shughuli yako wewe utaweza kufaidikaje na kwa kutambulika kama mfanyikaji katika sekta hii ya Jua Kali?
Kwa majina naitwa Samuel Nyaga Joshua. Mimi ni treasurer wa Embu Jua Kali Association. Kazi yangu
karibia tu hapa.
Nafanya kazi ya mechanic, na hii certificate president alisema tusaidiwe nayo. Naona kama itasaidia sana vijana wa Jua Kali, kwa sababu hii vijana tunafunja kazi hapa hatupatagi certificate. Na wakati Uhuru alisema hivyo, naona kama wananchi wa Kali tutasaidika sana, vijana wadogo watapata certificate, na hiyo certificate itasaidia kwa kupewa kazi kwa huduma za serikali, na pia hata tukifungua makampuni inasaidiaga sana kupewa nini ya certificate, ya kupewa kandi ya certificate ambayo utaweza kutafuta kazi kwa kampuni za serikali. Kwa hivyo hiyo certificate naomba, ikiwa makoa aliambiwa mambo ya certificate atuharakishie, sisi wananchi wa Kali tunahitaji zaidi. Tunaona vijana, hata ukiangalia hapa tuko na vijana wadogo, na pia hiyo vijana wadogo watasaidika sana kwa hiyo certificate. Asante sana.
Asante kwa muda wako. I will also engage another Jua Kali player here. Asante kwa muda wako. Tuanze na jina lako. Na je, hebu tueleze kabla ya kupoa hizi certificate, changamoto zimekuwa ni zipi katika sekta hii ya Jua Kali?
Changamoto
kwanza na jina tafadhali.
Majina yangu ni Josiah Kariuki Njagi. Tumekuwa na changamoto nyingi sana, sababu unakuta watu wengine watu wanasoma ufundi hapa, lakini wakienda kutafuta kazi hawapati. Example mzuri sana, nilipokuwa kijana balombalo tu kama wewe, nilikuwa huko Kaburi Nairobi, nikasoma miezi 6, lakini nilipochukuliwa kwa military I had to repeat class nikiwa nina ufundi, lakini sikuenda direct kwa ile masomo nilikuwa nimesoma. Kwa hivyo tunapongeza Uhuru sana kwa ile kazi anafanya.
Asante kwa muda wako. I will also engage the chairperson of Jua Kali here in Embu County. Asante kwa muda wako. Je, kwako kama chairman wa sekta hii ya Jua Kali, maoni yako ni yapi kuhusiana na hii directive ya President Uhuru Kenyatta?
Mimi kwa maoni yangu, kwanza majina yangu ni David Munjage, chairman wa Embu Jua Kali. Mimi kwa hii directive ya President imekuja wakati ufaao, maana sisi watu wa informal sector tumekuwa na sinda sana. Vijana wengi wanasoma na ndio wanajua sana, kazi sana, lakini wakienda kuajiriwa kwa zile makampuni zinakuja, unaona hawezi patiwa kazi. Kwa hivyo hii directive itasaidia sana, na kweli uchumi wetu utaendelea mbele, sababu vijana watakuwa kipata kitu ya wataajiriwa. Yes.
Kando na ajira, yes, kumekuwa na lile swala la nyinyi kupata tenda zile za contracts. Yes. Na sasa kupitia kupewa hati miliki hii, mtaweza kupewa contract. Ni jambo ambalo mnalifurahia, na kuna jambo lingine ambalo nyinyi mngependa kufanyiwa na serikali?
Hiyo mambo ya tenda na contract itatusaidia sana hii tukishapata. La pili, tungependa hizi certificates kipeanwa, waangalie kama area kama hizi za Jua Kali, pahali tunafanywa on job, watu wanafundishwa kazi on job training. Wanje hapa, wale watakuwa wakipeana hizo certificate, wanje hapa katika site, wao wakitupea hapa, sababu atakuwa akiona vile mtu anafanya kazi, na hiyo itasaidia sana, na itakuwa unapewa certificate kweli ambao umehitimu. Yes.
Asante kwa muda wako. Well, that is the chairperson, Jua Kali, here in Embu County. And I'm told more than 3,000 youths and people depend on this particular sector for livelihood. And with this move, with this new policy framework, it will enable, it is seen to enable sector players of Jua Kali to improve their daily livelihood. I'm Mwege William, back to you in studio.
Mwege William, my colleague from Embu County, thank you for getting the sentiments of Jua Kali artisans in Embu County, telling us about 3,000 of them are engaged in that work. So now, this morning we're privileged to have Dr. Juma Mukhwana, who is the Director General and CEO Kenya National Qualification Authority, that is KNQA. It is an authority that's really important when it comes to that certification of Jua Kali artisans. And also joining us in studio this morning, not a new face here on KTN News Center, that is Victor Otieno, who is an SME ecosystem strategist and the MD of VIFA Consultant. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on KTN News Center. Let me begin with Dr. Mukhwana. You've had the sentiments of Embu residents, not even residents, yes, they're Embu residents, but also the Jua Kali artisans. What do you have to say about that? I'd just like to pick your mind on their sentiments.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, this is an important directive, and it's something that we have today to implement, because we do know that our Jua Kali artisans have a lot of skills. They are actually the ones driving this economy. As you know, our economy is almost 80% informal. So these are people that are already working. If you look at the average mechanic that services your car, these are people that, although they have not gone to school, but they have the knowledge and the skills to do what they are doing. If you look at the average construction worker in Nairobi, a plumber, a mechanic, they don't have papers, but they are doing the job. So the basic thing behind recognition of prior learning is that we assess you and certify that you can do this job, and it does not matter how and when and where you landed. So this is very, very important, and it's going to help, especially our Jua Kali people, when it comes to getting government tenders and other tenders, because the current situation is that someone advertises a tender and says you must have this certificate or that certificate. So the Jua Kali person tenders, and they have to look for someone else with papers, who may not even do the job, but then because you want papers, they go and bring papers for you. And in the process, the job doesn't get done because the person who has brought papers expects money without working. And really, for this, we are exploiting these artisans in that process. Right. So this really help. So what this process will do is to say that we know that you can do the job, and as a country, we value the work and the contribution that you are making to the country, and we appreciate it by assessing you and certifying you and giving you a certificate to prove that you can do it. And this will enable many people, not just to work in Kenya. I know there are many technicians that want to go to the Middle East. Some of them want to go to South Sudan and others, and this will really help.
All right. And Victor, you know, when I was listening to one of the Jua Kali artisans talking to my colleague Mwege William, he said, wanafaa kuja hapa mali tunafanya kazi, waangalie kazi tunafanya, ndio tukipewa certificate ikuwe inalingana na kazi ambayo tunafanya. You know, it shows a sign of not being so sure on the sort of certificate that they will get from, you know, the government.
Thank you very much. I think number one is the directive and the initiative to offer certification or to recognize prior learning of Jua Kali artisans is much welcome. Given that we know that you know, the importance of the Jua Kali sector or the MSME sector in Kenya. I think in 2018, out of 840,000 jobs, new jobs created, around 702,000 was created within the Jua Kali sector. So it's a very important sector. And I think maybe looking at it broadly is, you know, it's a very good initiative. But from where I sit, I see that it's a jigsaw, it's a facet of a bigger picture, which I think must be addressed in the sense that, yes, you are issuing certificates, but is it matched with the current global practice in terms of, let's say, for example, vehicles are going electric. So the question that in my mind is, yes, even if you're to get a certificate today that recognizes your ability to repair cars for today, what about the skills upgrade that is required for you to be able to repair vehicles that are coming through, if you're to just look at global trends. So I think one of the most major important things that should come out is a curriculum that is forward-looking, not just a certificate. Yes, recognizing prior learning and getting them jobs within government, etc. But also, I think a broader curriculum that is forward-looking, that is, is able to match the skills required moving forward would be much, much more important. So that yes, we recognize you right now, but we upskill you to to a level that you can be able to be a global player. Otherwise, you become redundant in a few years, even if you had a certificate.
All right, and Dr. Mukwana, Mr. Victor brings in a very important point in terms of giving them certificates, and these certificates will be, from some of the TVET institutions, because TVET is more training on your skills. And when you look at these TVET institutions, it is more a curriculum-based approach. So once they do their learning in school, but when they go to the market, the Jua Kali sector, it is a totally different story. So what is the government going to do to ensure that even, learners, actually students in TVET institutions, whatever learning they get, it's in tandem with the Jua Kali sector, so that when they go to work in the Jua Kali sector, they're in tandem with what they're getting. And also these Jua Kali artisans, when they get the certificates from the TVET institutions, they are using current equipment so that they are in line with the job market, because the skills that is acquired by students nowadays is a major concern, to employers.
Okay, thank you. RPL is a very accurate way of assessing a skill that exists today. If we compare it with the students that you are describing, if I go to a TVET institution and I learn, and at the end of 2 or 3 years I'm being examined, it is assumed that because you taught me, I know. So if you assess me, I may know what you want. RPL is very different. RPL, I assess you on what you are doing today, on what you are able to do, on the technology that you are using. So RPL gives us skills for today. It is very different from what we are doing in the TVET institutions, because here we find you're a Jua Kali artisan, you know what to do. We subject you to a test using equipment that is current, using knowledge that is current, and then we certify that this person, we have assessed him, we're using this current technology, and they are able to perform.
All right.
So in fact, RPL is extremely important in terms of identifying what is needed. That these technologies are changing. And so the certificate that we are giving you for RPL, of course, needs to be upgraded with time. This is information that we will need to share because technologies are also changing. So if we have certified you as a motor vehicle mechanic, I'm sure in 5 years' time, the type of vehicles that we have will be very different. And of course, there will be no harm either somebody coming for a higher. If we give you a level 2 qualification, you could come for a level 3 qualification.